Hello, hello. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to another deadline stream. Things are set up really well. It is game week 5. Lots to talk about, lots of potential injury news and everything like that. We'll have a look at my team. We'll answer your questions, do all of the usual stuff during this stream. Sorry, just trying to make sure I'm in the middle of the shot. Nice and professional start as per always. Usual round of hellos to start off the stream though. Say hello in the chat. Let me know what you had for breakfast as well. Of course, it's 9 o'clock. Harry's never eaten breakfast by the time one of these streams does start. I'm going out for breakfast after the stream does end. Very nice little treat. And while that's happening, drop a like on the stream if you haven't already. And yeah, let's get into it. Let's get into it. Who have we got? Chris has had pancakes. I mean, what a start. What a start. Chris is having pancakes this morning. Let me know what you've had on top of your pancakes. Because controversial opinion, pancakes are nowhere near as good as crepes are. Crepes are the thin ones, 10 times better than pancakes. I think pancakes a little bit overrated, but only coffee, says Immortal. Only a cup of tea for me. That's all I've got. Tuned in from Kenya. Hello. Morning. Scrambled eggs on toast. Nice. Before a long run after the stream. Enjoy it, Jordan. Long run with the stream is where you should be. Then you got to stop and do stuff. Strawberry milk. Avocado toast. Jam and eggs, nice. Eggs and avocado. Avocado is becoming much more popular, I can see. Leftover curry, but crepes are better than pancakes. Have I tried pancakes in America? Heart attack territory, but another level. I don't think I have. I think I probably have. I have been to America, but I don't remember. I've only been to places for breakfast that I could choose how much I wanted. FPL for breakfast, exactly. That is all we need. Just a slight disclaimer: I am somewhere else streaming today, in a little village, and my camera is in a slightly different place to normal. So my chat is slightly lower down. So if I'm looking down a lot like this, that's because that's where the chat is, rather than it being higher up where it usually is. Hi, any info on Isak? So let's do a little roundup of the injury news that we've got. First of all is Dominic Calvert-Lewin, who has returned to training. He had an illness during the week. I fully think that illness was just an excuse for why he didn't play Dominic Calvert-Lewin in the Cup, but still lost without Dominic Calvert-Lewin there. The other one we've got is Joao Pedro, who we do think has trained for a couple of days this week. They, of course, don't play until Sunday. They've also said how important he is. Alexander Isak, I can understand why people would sell. It does feel like Alexander Isak is either going to be a start or a no feature. So if you have someone good on your bench, then you can just hold Alexander Isak. But if you don't have anyone on your bench, then potentially I would be looking to get rid. Joao Pedro is probably a hold. I think there's over a 50% chance that he does start this game, but it's probably not higher than that. Next up is Muniz of Fulham. Not exactly an injury, but a big rotation risk. I don't think he will start for Fulham today. So if you do have the likes of Muniz and Alexander Isak in your forward line, I'd probably be looking to sell Muniz first, keep Isak and have Isak sub out if he doesn't feature, and probably look to sell Muniz. Sorry, I still haven't moved my captain. That is a very good point. Who knows? I appreciate it. That was nearly a mistake of the week, wouldn't it? Let me just refresh to make sure that's saved in place. There we go. No, not Captain Holland. Any other bits of injury news we can do at the start as well, let me know. Isak replacement. So I probably prefer Dominic Calvert-Lewin over Jamie Vardy. Calvert-Lewin, I feel like Everton will score more goals. And Jamie Vardy has only had 4 shots so far this season, which does put me off him a little bit. Now, he does have the home fixture, which is slightly better. And of course, if you're wildcarding game week 6, then it doesn't matter that he plays Arsenal next week. But if you are not wildcarding game week 6, the game week 7 fixture you have to take into account, because the game week 6 and onwards fixtures may be slightly better for Everton because Vardy has an Arsenal away fixture in there, which I don't massively love. What are my wildcard plans? We'll get to those in a moment. 25 months and counting. Rory, you absolute legend. 25 months of being a member and of being a moderator for a reasonable portion of that time as well. Thank you so much for all of your support and help on all the streams as well. It is massively appreciated. To all the mods and the members as well who support the channel, thank you and good morning. Start 2 of Rodgers, Smith Rowe and Savio. I'd probably bench Savio. I'd pretty comfortably bench Savio out of that list. Konza or Dan Burn. I'd bench Dan Burn going away to Fulham, whereas you've got Konza playing at home. Bench 1 and 1. Robinson, Lewis, Aina. I'd probably bench Aina. I do think Brighton will score. Lewis as well, but Lewis does have a bit of attacking threat, and sometimes those games are quite low scoring. Smith Rowe, Morgan, Gibbs White, Joao, Pedro, Rodgers. So it's between Smith Rowe and Morgan Gibbs White. It's similar to my Smith Rowe and Chris Woods debate there. I probably would just about favour benching Smith Rowe because you've got penalties and things like that for Gibbs White. So it's always difficult to see benching a goalkeeper being a good decision. Benching a goalkeeper, benching a penalty taker being a good decision. I need to start filling in some of these hot topics. Let me put in some injury news and stuff like that. So, Isak is a doubt. Keep only if you have a strong first sub. Joao, Pedro, over 50% chance, I think. Muniz, I would sell. Cool. Benching decision, we will of course start filling in once people start asking. So, I mean, to rank a few of the players, I would go, that's the bench side. So I would go Rodgers over Smith Rowe. I would go both of them over Muniz. I would start, I probably would bench Isak for them, to be honest. I'd put Isak below them. Isak, again, we don't know anything on Isak. Apparently he hasn't trained, so it's not looking great for Isak. Bet 6 million to get in for Muniz. Again, it's Vardy or Calvert-Lewin probably. And it depends. If you're wildcard in 6, then you can maybe go Vardy because he's at home. But if you're not wildcard in 6, then it's definitely Calvert-Lewin. Either way, I probably would go Calvert-Lewin out of the two anyway. Hi, got Chesterfield game on early kickoff, so going to miss the game. Salah or Haaland for coming. Your opinion for captain, I imagine that's meant to say. For captain, your opinion. I mean, the captaincy ranking is so far in Salah's favour this week. Those City-Arsenal games are often quite low scoring, and I expect something similar again this weekend. So, yeah, I would be on Salah captain without a doubt if you own him this week. Gabriel or Saliba? So, I went through a period of regretting going Gabriel, but the more I look at it, that if I think Gabriel misses one game in 10, max, maybe one game in 15, one game or 20 more than Saliba, because Saliba over the Christmas period, if they have an easy game, could also get benched. But I think Gabriel scores 4 more goals than him this season, or 3 more goals than him this season. It then massively evens out, and you probably end up with Gabriel outscoring Saliba again this season. So I would go Gabriel over Saliba as long as you've got decent enough cover on your bench when you play your wildcard or transfers and stuff like that. Iwobi or Rodgers? I'd go Rodgers. I mean, I know Rodgers is yet to return, and he didn't return in the Champions League either, but I just think that there's going to be a week where it does click for Rodgers. Maybe it won't be a haul, but those returns are surely going to come at some point, and Wolves feel like they have quite a lot of injuries in place. So I'm quite comfortable starting Rodgers, and if Smith Rowe was to start for me, it would not be in place of Morgan Rodgers. Yeah, I'm rolling my transfer this week. The only things I've got to decide are benching decisions. So I've got Gabriel. I could start Robinson. I've got Smith Rowe, who I could start. it's probably Smith Rowe versus Joao Pedro and Wood. Am I certain enough that Joao Pedro is going to start, or do I start him over Chris Wood, for example? Diogo Jota going forward, keep or sell? I think he's going to be a sell, but I don't know it's going to be that short term. I think we might get a couple more out of him. I know people have said that the quotes from Arnie Slot about Darwin getting minutes is concerning. For me, that just guarantees he's going to play minutes in the Cup. I just think that Cup game midweek against West Ham has Darwin start written all over it. Maybe I'm trying to convince myself because I've got Diogo Jota, but I just feel like that is what we're going to get. So I don't have that much of a concern. And actually, my potential of saving the wild card revolves around Diogo Jota as well. So I'd play Madueke over Chris Wood, I think. And Aina Robinson, I'd go Robinson. I just think Aina will... Sorry, I am right next to quite a busy road. So I will do my best to maybe move the mic slightly closer. I hope you didn't just hear that lorry go past, but I imagine that you maybe did. So we'll do our best during this stream. Mazraoui or Robinson to start. Probably Robinson. Play the home defender. No lorry, no problem. All good. So let me talk. It was quiet. Fine. If you haven't already, please do make sure to like the stream. Also subscribe, because halfway through these streams we do turn it to subscriber only mode. Where only subscribers can ask questions. So let me show you what some potential saving of the wild card might look like. So this is Plan FPL for anyone who doesn't know it. I can drop a link in the chat. You get predicted points for future weeks like I've got if you sign up and have a membership with Fantasy Football Scout, which you can also do with the link in the description. But if you just want to use a planner, that's there as well. Cool. So this is my team this week, and I say I'm going to roll. So game week 6, roll. So this is the game week 6 team, and I've been trying to find a way to potentially save the wild card. And I haven't really found a way, but I know... So what I would say is I've wanted to find a way to save the wild card, but I haven't found a way that I was happy with. So I've been stuck in this place where I feel like I probably will end up wildcarding, but it's not what I want to do. Start Muniz or Smith Rowe. Definitely Smith Rowe. I wouldn't start Muniz if you have a choice. But then I would like to shout out AD in one of my, or in a couple of my group chats, who quickly said, Harry, why don't you just do this? And surely that saves you the wild card. So let me show you what they were. Let me zoom out a little bit. Let me... Ooh. Trying to alter the stream layout on the fly. There we go. That's probably... Sorry, sneeze. So let me show you what that looks like. It may involve selling... Well, it does involve selling Mo Salah. If I do Salah to Saka, something I was trying to resist doing as well. Thank you. And then do Smith Rowe instead of Jota to Mbermo. It would potentially be a -4 of Henderson to David Raya. For a -4 in game week 6, I'd have a team that looks like this, which feels very, very similar to what wildcarders will have. Like, I have a different 6 mil forward in Chris Wood. Like, I have a slightly different option in Diogo Jota, but that's really close to what a game week 6 wildcard will look like, and it's for a -4. I don't even have to get Raya for a hit. Like, I don't have to get Raya for a hit, but this would be... So let me just get it up. Game week... So that's Salah to Saka, Smith Rowe to Mbermo, and Henderson to Raya. And it would give me a team like this in game week 6, for a -4, which feels like it looks like a wild card. Now, I am banking on Jota starting this weekend, not playing in the Cup and then playing Wolves. Playing Wolves in game week 6. Chances are you might not get Palace out of Jota. That's the only thing. So I'd have to review going into game week 7 as well. But it does allow me to save the wild card. Because in game week 7, stuff looks pretty nice. I'd have another transfer. Like, I could do Jota out. I could do Rodgers out. I could do... I mean, I'll keep Chris Wood, right? Because the fixtures, until I play wildcard in game week 12 for Chris Wood, are Fulham at home, Chelsea away, Palace home, Leicester away, West Ham at home, Newcastle at home. They look pretty nice. So, at the moment, that is currently the plan. And what I might do is make those transfers today. Ooh. There we go. And then I can always decide at a later date if I want to wildcard. I'm going to sneeze again. So that is why I tweeted last night that there's about a 33% chance that I wildcard. Sponge, hello, how are we doing? First of all, congratulations on losing to us last weekend. Next up, your FPL question. You already have Saka, Gabriel and Watkins. A, Salah and Vardy in this week, wildcard 6. B, use 3 transfers, Ryan, Burma, Solanke and save wildcard. Yeah, if you're happy enough captaining someone else, if you're in that position, I'd probably go with the no Salah route, but I completely get that there's a lot of fear involved in doing that. You're a Bournemouth fan as well, so maybe you have a slightly better idea of how you think you're going to get on against Liverpool, but I understand the gamble. You've also got to understand if you gamble, it's probably not going to be a green arrow, right? Like, you're going to gamble and get a red arrow. And I don't go, like, if you're going to gamble on the no Salah route and saving the wild card, just accept that this is going to be a red arrow week, and that's fine. But like, if you go into this week thinking, oh, I got a red arrow, I should have just got Salah and wildcarded, then like, you're going to get a red arrow this week if you don't captain Salah. I presume, right? So at the moment, yeah, I'm down to about 33% chance of playing the wild card this week. Can we talk about Luis Diaz? We absolutely can. A lot of there was that predicted lineup going around on Twitter, which was I presume was created just to get interactions from the FPL community, because it had both Luis Diaz and Diogo Jota benched. I'm almost certain that is not going to be the case. They played on Tuesday. They then got cup midweek, and I fully expect the second choice players, like Darwin, is just going to play the cup, right? Liverpool fans, tell me if I'm wrong, but I feel like that Liverpool West Ham lineup is going to be rotated. So, the only other thing is, let me get the Liverpool fixtures up. I mean, to be fair, the Liverpool fixtures in the Champions League, like, this is Bologna. So you might get the 3 Prem games out of some of their options. It depends if they go completely full strength at home to Bologna. I probably will, because it's Champions League. Like, I don't love this idea that Premier League teams rotate in the Champions League. Like, it's the Champions League. They just get... Liverpool fans, let us know if you plan on rotating and that you think you'll rotate in that Champions League game as well. Saka and Isak to Diaz, Watkins, or Isak to Solanke. I wouldn't bring in Diaz, especially for a hit. No chance. Like, I'd go and Boomo over Diaz this week. If you're wildcard 6, just do the -4 and go. No, actually, don't sell Saka if you're wildcard 6. No, just sell Isak and keep Saka. Transfer in Solanke DCL. Or start Smith Rowe. I just start Smith Rowe. I don't think that's worth a transfer. The only thing to note is Solanke's a really difficult one. I still think he'll come good, and I still think he's a good pick. But is he 7.5 million's worth of good pick at the moment is where I find it maybe not. Like when you have 6 million options performing very well, it is a little bit harder to vouch for the money to go and do that. So, yeah, I'm not so certain on going and having what am I trying to say? Solanke is who I'm talking about. Bench 2 from Harwood Bellis, Konza and Gabriel. I mean, Konza definitely starts. Is Harwood Bellis at home to Ipswich or Gabriel? To be honest, I'd play Gabriel. I think Ipswich score. So, yeah. I don't know that if you see stuff on Twitter and you want me to see whether it's legit or not, send it to me in my DMs or tag me on Twitter as well. And while I'm on my phone, I will have a look. And I will see if there's anything. So if you see anything on Twitter, do tag me in it. Sell Isak and Minte for DCL and Burma. I'd probably go DCL over Chris Wood. And yes, I probably would do that. If I don't play wildcard in 6 or 7, when will I plan on using it? Potentially game week 12. But if things look fine in 12, then I might hold it even longer. I always am a big one for holding the wild card. I'm just not certain I know enough about teams. There are just more fixture swings in game week 12 again. Let me show you fixtures, FDR. So if we look at game week 12, so it looks like this, right? Newcastle start a pretty nice run. Brighton come into a really nice run of form, as do Bournemouth. You start to see Spurs look pretty nice. You've got Wolves having a really nice run. West Ham have a couple of hard ones and then another nice run as well. So there is definite fixture swings in there. And it just gives you extra time. Like the issue with wildcard for me as well this week is I can't build a team that I like that much. Like it's double arse defense. Like from what I will get to, which is this, I don't feel like I'm missing anything. I saw a really interesting post about it. It's like if I was on wildcard in game week 6, I would make 12 transfers, but I don't feel like I need to change half of those players. Like I would probably change Chris Wood. I would change Pedro. I'd change Rodgers. Like I'd change Jota. I'd change Robinson. Like I changed Johnson, but I don't need to make all of these transfers. Like in this week, I mean, Robinson doesn't even get a look in. It's just Trent, Porro, Gabriel, Raya, back four. Like, I mean, it might go wrong, and I might still wildcard. Dave, how are we doing? Good morning. Saka and Diaz or Salah and Traore? I mean, I don't love either because I don't think I think Diaz is a risk. I would probably go Saka and... I mean, for this week, Salah and Traore, but long term, a Saka option. Replace Alisson. Yeah, Alisson's a difficult one if you did go with him. We just have no idea if he's going to start or not. If you're wildcard in game week 6, I'd probably just roll with it and hope he plays. If you're not wildcard in 6, then potentially just look at David Raya. If on wildcard this week, would I have Joao Pedro? No. I'd probably have Haaland, Vardy, Watkins, or Calvert-Lewin. I'd have 3 of those 4. Well, I'd have Haaland, and then it's Vardy, Calvert-Lewin, Watkins, depending on how your squad structure fits. If I was on wildcard this week, the issue is, and I don't want to say it to people who have got their wildcard active. I do think this week is a really difficult week to play your wildcard in. Because a lot of the teams that you want from next week have difficult games. Like you've got Brentford going away to Spurs. You've got Arsenal up against Man City. And there are a lot of teams that you want to invest in. And Man United go on a nice fixture run, right? And they go away to Palace this week. Whereas you've got good fixtures to the like of Liverpool, but you don't necessarily want them that long term. Which is why Wildcard 6 was the big week for it, because that's when a lot of those swings, do change. 3,000 likes, 3,000 viewers, and only 300 likes. 10% of you, if you haven't already, please do like the stream. Forwards for Wildcard 6. It's Haaland plus probably 2 of Solanke. Solanke, Watkins, Vardy. Calvert-Lewin. Those of you sending me that tweet from Team News FPL saying that apparently Joao Pedro has travelled, he may be right, but I have this account blocked. And as soon as accounts like that get it wrong, they get blocked. And they only have 8,000 followers. And in the FPL community, if you are giving reliable team news as often as they tweet team news, which is every single week, several times for lots of different games, you would have many, many more followers than that. So I don't believe that. It may be right. Doesn't mean it's wrong. Another one you are sharing from me, from Grey FPL, saying that Alexander Isak, I've also got them blocked, so I wouldn't follow them either. It's a very good litmus test. It's a very, very good litmus test of as soon as people are getting stuff wrong, if you just block them. Because then as soon as they come up on someone else's feed or someone shares it, you just know, like I know straight away not to trust that because I've just got them blocked. Very easy way to do it. And a lot of these counts, you look over their timeline and everything's right. That's because they post 7 things and 2 of them are right and they delete the other 5. So be careful, please, on team news. But yeah. And Burmo or Madison? I mean, 100% on Burmo. 100%. 100%. What am I looking at? Yeah. Bruno to Luis Diaz or Jota. I probably wouldn't do either. I think there's enough doubt about both of them. I do think Jota will start, but I don't. If you're wildcarding in 6, then maybe you do that transfer. But if you're not, then I don't think I'd bother. I'd just go straight to Mbeumo. I just think Mbeumo is a better buy than both Luis Diaz and Diogo Jota. Love the podcast. Should I sell Saka and Havertz to get Haaland? Again, if you're... no, actually, I wouldn't do that. Not this week. No. Thank you for the love on the podcast, by the way. I absolutely love it. Like, it's a big project for me. For anyone who doesn't know, there should be a link in the top of or in the description to the new podcast. It's called Know the Score. It's just Premier League based. We're starting to add more and more games into it every week. Like hot topic questions. We review all the games as a default. We've got predictions. We do a little bit of FPL talk. And we're going to start a predictions competition from not this weekend, the weekend after. So make sure you tune into Monday's episode if you want to get involved in that predictions competition. You just have to predict the 10 results every weekend. And if you get them right, you get points. If you get them wrong, you don't get points, basically. And if you get close, you get some points. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's called Know the Score, but it's linked. And it's on podcast if you just like listening, or it's on YouTube if you want to see our lovely faces. News on the Chelsea lineup. If we get anything pre-deadline, I will let you know. It does sound like Jadon Sancho is probably going to start on the left wing, which means it's either Pedro Neto or Noni Madueke on the right. I would be very surprised if it's not Noni Madueke. And I think Pedro Neto may end up on the bench with Palmer in the middle and Jackson up front. Start Olaina or Robinson. Robinson. I think both teams concede, but I would go with the home player there. Victoria's Secret, start 2. Wood, Smith Rowe, Rogers. Also Gabriel or Robinson. I mean, I'm going Gabriel over Robinson, and I'm benching Smith Rowe in my team. Benching Smith Rowe. The Isak news is we just don't have anything. There'll be people on There'll be people on Twitter who try to make stuff up between now and the deadline, or people who guess, so be careful. We have no update on Alexander Isak. Apparently, he hasn't trained much this week because they have a toe injury, and we just didn't get anything more. Eddie Howe is probably the number one worst manager for telling us the truth in press conferences, so I don't think you can really believe what he says anyway. Joao Pedro, apparently he has trained on Thursday and Friday, and they're just going to see before the game on Sunday. I do think he will start. Trent is not a bad shout for captaincy. He's actually number 2 in my captaincy ranking if you don't have Salah. Now, I understand that comes with its element of risk, and not many people like captaining a defender. So you've got the likes of Palmer, Jota, Haaland, Watkins up there as well if you don't want to captain a defender. But purely based off like expected points and stuff like that, I do have Trent as my number 2 captaincy pick. But with Alisson injured, maybe it does lower him down a little bit. Mooney's to DCL or start Hudson-Odoi. Jacob, if you're wildcarding in 6, I would just start Hudson-Odoi. If you're not wildcarding in 6, I'd probably do the transfer because you're going to have to do the transfer anyway at some point. Ollie Watkins will start. Yes, Ollie Watkins has said to be absolutely fine. No concerns with Ollie Watkins either. Yeah. I do think there's a start for Durant coming at some point, but it might be in place. It might be in combination with Watkins. It might be in combination with Ollie Watkins. Can I shout out your girlfriend, Livy Spuds, who is top of my mini league with 310 points already? Congratulations. Well done. That's a fantastic... How many points am I on? Sorry, I read that really apprehensively and I'm still not sure because I feel like that's one of those things that people ask you to read out in the chat and actually you're shouting out... I don't know who. 292. You're Gabriel start ahead of me. You have a similar team to me. Thinking of wildcard 6. What would my moves be if you're not wildcarding 6? So as I said, just to... Oh, sorry. Glory, Man United. Sorry, I have... No, I was going to say something about your name. That's why I didn't read it out, but it's all good. Kwanzaa, Saka, Isak to Harwood, Bellis, Salah, Wood. I don't love that. Only if you're going to wildcard in 6. If you're going to wildcard in 6 to get Saka back in, then maybe. But if not, then no. So yeah, just to run through my plan. This would be my potential -4 to save the wild card. It would be Salah to Saka, Smith Rowe to Brian and Mbeumo, and Henderson to Raya. And it would give me a team that looks like this. And like, I feel like that is almost a wild card team. Apart from maybe Rodgers and Jota, who I will deal with over the next couple. No, this is game week 6. This is game week 6. So, you did tell me last week Wood over Gabriel. Quite a lot of you in the chat told me last week Wood over Gabriel. Like, is this like that defense? Like Gabriel, Trent, Porro, Raya, Mbeumo, Eze, Saka, Haaland, Chris Wood. Like, I have Chris Wood where a lot of people have Muniz or Isak. Like, that's an extra transfer that people have got to make that I don't need. What I think of Rico Lewis, I think he'll probably start, but it was always my concern with Rico Lewis. And it looks like Pep's quite happy to make half-time subs now, which is a bit of a concern if you've got players like that. He's probably a sell long-term, I think. What are my plans after not wildcarding in 6? I mean, I might still wildcard. It's still a possibility. Like, I'm not ruling it out at all. And if we get today, and let's say if Jota doesn't start today, then yeah, like if Jota doesn't start today or Jota starts the cup midweek, like I may well just wildcard because a lot of this revolves around Jota starting at least Wolves and probably Palace as well. Because in 6, this will be my team. Sorry, in 7. And I've got Jota away at Palace starting as well. And if I think he's not going to start that, then... And like I can use my transfer here to do Rodgers to like... what's his name? Like Kevin Sade or something like that. So yeah. Or I just play Chris Wood. And then I could do Joao Pedro to Calvert-Lewin or something. So yes, I am currently planning on 33% chance I play the wild card now, I would say. Wood or Minte, I play Wood. And Gabriel or Lewis Hall. Gabriel. I just think there's a chance Lewis Hall doesn't start, and I don't think they keep a clean sheet anyway. Maybe I should be... Sorry, that's the wrong tab. Maybe that's the wrong tab. Do I get Bowen, Gordon, or Mbumo? If you're buying a midfielder this week, then you have 7.5 to spend, and you're not wildcarding next week. Just go and buy Mbumo. Alisson, we don't have anything on yet. Let's see if we get any updates before the deadline. Yeah, literally nothing on Alisson. My advice would be if you're wildcarding in 6 or 7, just to hold Alisson. If you're wildcarding later, I'd probably get rid, because you'll probably want to sell him anyway. Let's see if anyone's... This account. So this account has started like writing a thread on all the accounts that are wrong, and it's absolutely fantastic. But I want them to tag them. I want them to tag them. Oh, they have. And you can just go through. Let me show you it. I absolutely love it. I saw it in Game Week 1 and I was trying to find it the other day. Yeah. So they have this thread called Team Leak Frauds, and every week they just post the accounts that got the team leaks wrong. And they just tag them, and then you could just go down and you could just like block them all. It's so useful. I'm so glad someone's finally done it. What do I think about Son? I mean, if you want to keep this week and then go to Saka next week, then fine. But I don't think he's a good long-term pick. He's not worth the price if they're playing Solanke up front. Bench Eze, Pedro, or Madueke. In that situation, I'll probably bench Joao Pedro just because there is the uncertainty. Pedro Porro play, yeah. No reason why Pedro Porro won't play. Please, can I go over wildcard rules? If I -4 tonight, can I get points back if I wildcard? Yeah, so if you wildcard, if I take a -4 tonight and then I wildcard, that -4 will be cancelled and it'll be made part of the wildcard. So I can take that -4 tonight and then decide on wildcard at a later date. So yes, and also I always get asked this question: if you make transfers and accidentally don't play the wildcard, just make sure a wildcard's activated before the deadline and it will cancel out all those hits. I probably get asked it 4 or 5 times a week. So if you make transfers and don't activate the wildcard and make sure it's activated before the deadline, then that's fine. Because transfers on the wildcard don't actually impact price changes. So quite often people, like engaged managers, will not activate their wildcard, make loads of transfers to try and increase the chance of players rising in price, and then make the transfer. I will probably make transfers tonight. Because There is predicted rises. So, but the issue is right, Salah is predicted to rise. But Raya and Mbumo are both probably also going to rise. So I probably need to make them. The thing is, because if Salah rose, I'd gain 0.1 selling value on him. But if Mbumo and Raya both rise, then I will lose 0.1. So Mbumo. Point prediction for Salah versus Saka in game week 6. I think game week 6 is close. To be honest, I think Salah is probably a slightly better captaincy option in game week 6. You can get a drink. You don't have to tiptoe around.
I feel like your followers would want me to have a drink after a run.
Yeah. The one on the right. On a wildcard is having Diaz, Jota a huge mistake. I probably would only go with one of them and then sell one straight away to Mbumo or someone like that. Surely it's not worth taking a hit to bring Saka in before game week 6 then. No, but I need the money for the other transfers. That was Holly. She's just been on a run. I needed a drink. Yeah, I mean, I don't think Salah to Saka is not worth a hit next week, but I need the money. Like, I have to upgrade Smith Rowe to Mbumo and Henderson to Raya. Like, I think that the ones on the right outscore the ones on the left by 4 points. Kitchen live stream confirmed. Yeah, absolutely. We're in an Airbnb this weekend in a little seaside village. And I bring all my stuff, little suitcase, and green screen and everything. So yes, I am in the kitchen. And there is a main road just outside with the lorry that's just gone past. But it's what we do. It is what we do. Is Van der Ven a good shout at 4.5? So no, I actually don't like the Van der Ven pick because I don't think they keep enough clean sheets and he doesn't offer enough going forward. I know he got an assist in game week 2, but yeah, there's much better 4.5s that I'd go with. Much better. Like I'd go with Leif Davies. Probably is my number 1 at 4.5 at the moment. Do I think Smith Rowe? I think Smith Rowe is absolutely fine, and I don't feel confident benching him that much. But I can't see myself benching Rodgers. I'm not benching Eze. It's one of the two forwards in Wood or Joao Pedro that I could potentially bench. But will Rodgers have a good return this game week? I mean, maybe. I'm going to do my best. He's definitely starting for me. The form is definitely there. And Villa do look good at the moment. Do I think Saka will outscore Palmer this season? If Palmer plays like he did against Bournemouth, then yes, in terms of positioning. He was stuck half the game from 60 minutes onwards at right wing and he was just nowhere near as effective. And I do wonder, like looking at what they said on... in the press conference, they said left wing is going to be Sancho and Mudryk. Right wing is going to be Madueke and Neto. In the middle is going to be Joao Felix and Palmer. And up front is going to be Jackson and Nkunku. Now, I just don't see Mudryk getting many minutes. So I wonder what happens when Sancho comes off. But going by that, when Joao Felix goes on, it might be Palmer that comes off. Like, it might be Palmer that comes off. So, any reason that you benched Smith Rowe and Robinson, I just don't feel like I've got space in my starting lineup for them, is the only reason. I like them both as picks. If you're starting them this week, I've got absolutely no problem with that. No Chelsea team news. So, maybe if he starts Sancho on the left and Madueke on the right, maybe he brings Sancho off and puts Neto on the left and takes Madueke off and puts... But he said he doesn't want... a left wing Pedro Neto. Like, he says that's not a long-term thing. Use 2 free transfers for Eze, Isak to Mbermo, Watkins. Yes, I probably would do that. I probably would. I mean, yeah, no, I would. I'd do it before the deadline. Is it worth going without Salah game week 5 to delay the wild card? Have Saka this week. Rest of the squad looks good. If the rest of your squad is good, then yes. So that's my issue with Palmer. We might start seeing slightly earlier subs for him, which would absolutely kill him as an asset, I think. Is Mikalenko starting today? We don't know, but he should be back in... he's back in training. He had an illness, so it's fine. I think he'll start. Bench boost with Flecken, Konza, Lewis. No. There'll be other opportunities to bench boost. It's not the worst, but when you just don't know if Joao Pedro is going to start, you can't play your bench boost there. Likelihood Madueke gets benched. I'd say there's a 75% chance that he starts. He's been praised a lot, and he's our best right winger. He's our best winger, full stop. I can't make the goalkeeper change before the deadline. That's the thing. All 3 have to be done at the same time because I need the money out of Salah. So the question was, if I'm not going to wildcard, would I think about doing Henderson to Raya with my free transfer this week? Surely Raya has a higher chance of points than Henderson. And I was like, maybe I should do that. Maybe that is the play. But there's a couple of things with that. A, I can't do it because I don't have the money. But the other thing is, if I do it after the deadline, I get that transfer back if I decide to play the wildcard. Whereas if I wildcard next week, that transfer's lost. Sancho, Felix have to play. I mean, I don't see Felix starting games ever because he said that he competes with Cole Palmer. So what's Holly cooking? Nothing. She's been on a run. We haven't had an appearance from Holly or Holly's Cakes for a while. I keep saying you should come on stream or something, but it doesn't happen. She's often busy Saturday morning. Sadly. Maybe today. Why is Vardy not being talked about? I would say Vardy's being talked about a lot, and maybe more than he should be. He's taken 4 shots so far this season, and his underlying data is not amazing, but the fixtures are starting to look really nice, so I haven't fully decided on wildcard 6 because I need to see a bit of football today. If Jota starts and scores, then it may well delay it. Like, there's a few key players in my team that returns from today versus blanks today might swing me on wildcard. Jota, Rodgers, Eze, and then Chris Wood tomorrow. Yeah, her life doesn't revolve around FPL. It's crazy, Beardy. I know. To be fair, she is an incredible at planning with my FPL in mind. So I'm very appreciative of it. And deadlines and stuff like that. So Matoma or Smith Rowe to start? Probably Matoma. Any news on Alisson? We don't have anything. And no early team news as of yet that is reliable, I don't think. Just seeing if there's anything anyone's tagged me in, sorry. Nope. So Gabriel or Konza. I'd play Konza over Gabriel if I had him. I think Konza would play. Hello, Gary. How are we doing? Best 5 million. If you've got triple Arsenal already, then I probably wouldn't bother with a 5 million. I'd just go Flecken. There is a period where we might look at, dare I say it, Edison. The fixtures from about game week 7 onwards are so good for them, but I just don't think I'd do it. I'd just go Like, I think the only two goalkeepers, I said it in my final decisions video, Raya 1, Flecken 2, and I'd probably leave it at that, to be honest. They will be the top two goalkeepers in my goalkeepers to buy for about the next 10 weeks, I imagine. Raya 1, Flecken 2. No team news yet. How long have we got? We've still got an hour until deadline, so I wouldn't expect anything yet anyway. I'm really good at whistling, by the way. Really good. What about Mateta? I like him at his price. And if he's on penalties, it's a massive boost to him. So, yeah. Would I start Joao Pedro or Smith Rowe? I mean, I've got Joao Pedro starting in my team over Smith Rowe, Lions. So, and I definitely picked a question up quicker than I did last week. So, hopefully that helps. First bench, Winks or Robinson? Definitely Robinson. Haaland needs 1 goal against Arsenal to match Ronaldo's record for the quickest to 100 goals. Surely he scores. That's only to match it. God, I bet he wanted that hat-trick against Brentford, didn't he? Wow. 18 months, Max. Thank you very much for being a member for 18 months. I appreciate it. Seeing these memberships tick up for this length of time is crazy to me. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Why Gabriel over Robinson? I mean, those Arsenal games are often low scoring, and I just think Newcastle will score. So you can make a good wildcard team next week for a -8. Is it too much to hit or worth it to save the wildcard? Adrian, send me what that team would look like, and I'll take a look after the stream. A -8 might feel slightly too much. And let me know what the team looks like and what the transfers would be. Isak to Solanke DCL, 2 free transfers, wildcard 6 or 7. So the wildcard 6 versus 7, I don't love the wildcard 7 because the wildcard 7 looks almost the same to the wildcard 6. And all you're doing is your team in game week 6 looks fine, so you can delay the wildcard to 7. But your team looks better in game week 6 if you wildcard a week early, and it's better for team value as well. I don't love the wildcard 7. I think there's a very small chance that I do that now, unless I get it wrong, right? If I wildcard in, if I use -4 in game week 6 and then I feel like I got it wrong, that is the only situation that I feel like I will wildcard 7. I don't think I will go into it planning a 7 wildcard. I'd be very surprised. I don't think there's much benefit to a 7 wildcard over a 6. More likely for Haaland to score 2 or Luis Diaz 1. I mean, if Luis Diaz starts, then Luis Diaz probably. Best City defender on a wildcard for 5.8. I mean, it's probably a Kanji, isn't it? We're probably at the point where it's a Kanji. But how, like... I don't think I'd bother with a City defender. Like, I just don't think I would do it. I mean, a Kanji plays 90 like every week. It's probably a Kanji, but I just don't like. That's not like I reckon Pedro Porro outscores a Kanji this season. So just because you're buying a City defender doesn't mean you're necessarily getting more points. Like I think Pedro Porro will outscore a Kanji this season comfortably. If I look at other defenders that you could buy for a similar price, like I reckon 2 4.5 million defenders rotating will outscore a Kanji this season. I reckon, I reckon Dallo outscores a Kanji. Like, they'll keep less clean sheets, but let's sort by price. Probably not Timber because you probably want your Arsenal elsewhere. Cucurella is probably going to play every single game this season for Chelsea. Could easily outscore a Kanji. A 5 million rotating with a 4.5. Big up Kantar days. I have no idea who's written that. I have no idea who that is. Trying to work it out, but the handle doesn't give anything away. Saliba or Robinson? If so, why? I mean, Saliba has less attacking threat than Gabriel, so it is even closer probably than it is. And that might just sway me to Robinson over Saliba, but I do think it's really close. Herzler, Chelsea's next manager. I mean, Chelsea seem to pinch everything from Brighton. Disclaimer, I'm a Chelsea fan, so I'm allowed to say that. Would or Calvert-Lewin have on Wildcard? I would go Calvert-Lewin. Like, Chris Wood is a very good pick that I'm happy to hold, and he's a absolutely fine hold, but I don't think I would own him. Like, if I was wildcarding, and this is one of the things I was saying, if I was on Wildcard 6, like, I would sell Chris Wood, but that doesn't mean I need to. Doesn't mean I need to sell him. Given the choice, would I prefer to have your team this week, Palmer or Watkins? Watkins, probably. Watkins, home to Wolves. Leaving game week 6, what is a good window to wildcard? There is people looking at a game week 8 or 9 wildcard. Game week 12 is probably my favourite, or you can wait and do it in game week 18 and basically set yourself up for the second half of the season. So, Jota confirmed start. No, we don't have any team news yet. I do think Jota will start, but it's definitely not confirmed. 1 hour to go to the deadline. Thank you, official. One second. Who to cap between Trent, Haaland, Watkins and no Salah? I mean, it's Trent or Watkins for me. I do have Trent higher, but maybe the fear of not captaining a defender would get to me. So probably Watkins. You can do Muniz to Calvert-Lewin now for free. Next week, Henderson, Salah, Sangare to Raya, Saka and Bumo. I mean, it's not bad. Adrian, send it to me on WhatsApp and I'll take a look. I suppose the Muniz to Calvert-Lewin is you'd do this week anyway. Rough Wildcard 6 team. I do have a YouTube short, Instagram reel and TikTok ready to go on a Game Week 6 Wildcard draft for anyone who is looking to play it. I have it on my phone and it will go out today. Just so I can read it out to you. Make sure to watch it when it does come out though. David Raya in goal, Gabriel, Porro. Then I've gone with Kirkez of Bournemouth, rotating with Mazraoui of Manchester United, and then Greaves of Ipswich on the bench. Midfield of Saka, Eze and Bumo, Bowen. And then I've gone Garnacho, but if he doesn't start today, we'd have to change that. Haaland, Calvert-Lewin, Vardy up front. Gives you a front 8. Take out Saka for Havertz. No, I don't like Havertz while he's playing in midfield. So no, I wouldn't take out Saka. Is there any Chelsea team news? No, nothing yet. Dean or Rico Lewis? I'd play Dean. Of course, there's a slight doubt he doesn't start, but I reckon he does. Which two should I start? Saliba, Robinson, or Aina? I'd probably bench Aina just because I think Brighton score the most. Captain Watkins, Vice Captain Eze. I don't mind that. Eze's probably not the favourite Vice Captain, but I like a Watkins captain if you are, if you've got no Salah. If I had to choose between Robinson and Saliba, it's even closer because Saliba has less attacking threat. I probably would go with Robinson in that case. Thoughts on Rico Lewis minutes? I think he'll start, but I think he's going to be a sell at some point. For 1 week punt, DCL or Vardy? I mean, I'd probably go DCL. Vardy's had one shot a game so far, on average. Any news on Jota? They were rumours that he wasn't starting last night. I didn't see those rumours. Please tag me in anything you saw. There was a predicted lineup from yesterday, but I'm almost certain that predicted lineup will be wrong. I just can't see a world where after they've dropped points that they bench both Diaz and Jota. I just cannot see that. Maybe I'll be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that predicted lineup will be wrong. For anyone wondering, the predicted lineup had Gakpo left wing, Darwin striker, and I just don't think that's going to happen. They've just dropped points to Forest. There's no way they do that. It was Andy Martin. Of course it was. Will I get 2 free transfers if you play Wildcard this week? If you have 2 free transfers, play your Wildcard, you'll have 2 free transfers on the other side of it. If that answers your question. Bench 2, Greaves, Konza, Robinson, Mazraoui. Definitely bench Mazraoui. And then I'd probably bench Robinson. Konza, it's Robinson versus Greaves for the last spot. Can I explain why Rodgers over Smith Rowe? I mean, he just has a much better fixture and he's just massively involved and playing 90 minutes pretty much every single week. Is basically where I'm at with it. Rodgers is definitely starting. It's more Smith Rowe versus Wood or Smith Rowe versus Joao Pedro. Let me do a little poll. Who would you bench? Smith Rowe. I just know. I'm not going to comment, but I know who's going to win this poll. I know who's going to win this poll. There we go. Let me just do something really quick. Put my little team hider up. The best thing about this stream is that team hider. So, your defenders are Porro, Gabriel, Robertson, Dunk. Who would I buy as the last defender for 5.8 on Wildcard? You don't need another defender. A 4 million, probably a Greaves, and save the money. You don't need a stronger back 5 than that. Smith Rowe is top. I'm surprised Rodgers is last. I thought Rodgers would win that poll on who to bench. Pedro and Alisson, we have nothing. Am I likely to get Newcastle team news? I would be surprised if we get anything reliable. I'd be surprised if we get anything reliable. Send me. Watkins or Palmer for captain. It's so close. I probably need to change my captaincy order, to be honest. Where is it? After the injury news that we got yesterday. Swap 2 of them round. Madueke or Neto right wing? I think it will be Madueke. I think this game it will be Madueke still, but it's not. Yeah. When do I plan to wildcard? In the moment, I'd probably say 33% chance I play it in game week 6, 50% chance I play it in game week 12, and then a 17% chance I play it in a different week. No, probably slightly higher in game week 12 and slightly lower for other. Forest defenders, Moreno on a 4.5. I mean, I would want to make sure Moreno starts a couple more before I went and bought him. I quite like Milenkovic, the centre-back. There's goal. He's like a Gabriel. There's goals in that centre-back position. I would potentially go there. Now, he's maybe not quite as good for bonus, but he'll score more goals than the others. But I probably would go Olorayino at the moment because he can play both sides. Mahmood, thank you for joining as a top tier member. Drop me a message on Instagram or Twitter and I'll get you added to all the WhatsApp communities that you need. McNeil or Onana? I'd go McNeil, actually. I've been quite impressed with him. And he's playing the number 10, which is massively beneficial to him from a creator point of view. He's so much more involved than he was before. I realized the stream was already in subscriber only mode, so I don't need to change it. If you are watching and you aren't subscribing already, please make sure you do so you can ask questions in the chat. And we are 125 likes away from 1,000. So if you could, that'd be great. If you don't, then that's also fine. We're just here to enjoy. Here to enjoy. Right. 957. There we go. Have to bench Wood after last week's absolute mess. I mean, maybe, but I just think the data is still there, right? I mean, against Liverpool, no. But like 0.47 XG against Wolves, 0.24 away at Southampton, 0.7 against Bournemouth. I mean, his data's the best out of those options that I've got. It is a harder fixture, though, is the only thing. Start Madueke or Smith Rowe. Probably Madueke. Probably Madueke, I think. Trent or Watkins. Probably Watkins. Probably Watkins. Best in the business. Thank you very much. KDB news, nothing. He was expected to train today before the game tomorrow. I do think they'll probably start De Bruyne in a game like this, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they won't want to take the risk. Why Gabriel and Haaland? I mean, Haaland's definitely starting, and Gabriel is a solid centre-back. I do think those goals will be low scoring. What I think if I have Isak and Pedro, I would wildcard next week. The wildcard 5 I do not like, and especially doing it an hour before the deadline, I like even less. Sell Isak. I mean, if you've got someone if you're wildcarding in 6 and you've got a first sub, then don't sell Isak. If any of those things don't apply, then yes, sell Isak. Muniz, Haaland, Pedro, no bench, wildcard 6, bring in DCL. Yeah, I probably would do Muniz to DCL in that situation. Do I think Diaz will start? I do think Diaz and Jota will both start, yes. I do think Jota is slightly more likely, but... Muniz to Wood or save transfer and play Semenyo. I'd probably save it and play Semenyo, Matt. I probably wouldn't put Wood as my top cheap forward to buy either. Muniz to DCL, Vardy or Nketiah. If you're wildcard 6, it's not Nketiah, it's DCL or Vardy. I probably would go DCL, but I think it's quite close. No early team news on anything as of yet either. No. So let me update. Start. Just adding a few things to the benching rotation. Where would I put Gabriel in this? Gabriel or Greaves? Part of me would take the chance on Greaves, to be honest. Why DCL over Vardy? Vardy's had 4 shots this season. Whereas Calvert-Lewin could have had 4 goals in the game last weekend. So Semenyo also, yes. Let me take them and add them over there. Gabriel down. So who was it? Semenyo. I mean, Semenyo's higher up because he's an attacker. Like, would I play Semenyo or Kwanzaa? Probably the attacker, but you might not be able to do that. He's definitely below the likes of Rodgers and Joao Pedro, Smith Rowe. Let's add. I don't have Joao Pedro in this list either. There we go. Semenyo or Pedro. We've got that. I'd play Pedro over Semenyo. Mikalenko or Robinson. We don't need to add Mikalenko. Eze or Harvey Barnes. Eze, bench 1. Raya or Sanchez. Probably bench Raya. Would I sell Isak for a hit? If you're not going to wildcard next week, you probably do, and because you need to sell him at some point. But probably not this week, no. Probably not. Oh, Ahmad is a good one. Let me add that in. They're away, aren't they? Away at Palace. We also don't know he's going to start. He probably is quite low, to be fair. I'd probably... Ahmad is definitely low down. Right, let me make that longer. Cool. KDB out or keep? Will he start every game? I would probably sell him if you can. And Brian Mbeumo would be my number one, unless you can afford Saka and don't have him. Eze to Palmer if wildcarding next week. If I was taking 1 week punts in midfield, I don't think Palmer would necessarily be top of that list. Thank you all for 1,000 likes, by the way. If I was taking a punt in midfield for 1 week, I would just take the transfer. I wouldn't bother. So again, if you're wildcarding in 6, reminder, you don't have to use your transfer this week. You can roll that transfer through the wildcard, so you don't have to. So I would just roll. I wouldn't do the Eze move. Jota to Saka. You already have Salah, and Jota has underwhelmed so far. I wouldn't do it this week, Colin, but I would do it next week. I'd take the chance that he's going to start. Pedro to Vardy. I mean, I don't know what situation you're in that you're doing that transfer and when you're wildcarding. It's not something I love unless it fits a very specific set of transfer plans for you. Lewis to Pedro. I mean, Rico Lewis to Pedro Porro for a hit. Again, if you're not wildcarding in 6, then yes, because you'll want Pedro much better long term. Do I think it's a good time to change the goalkeeper? You have 0.3. I don't have another goalkeeper I'd buy this week. The 2 goalkeepers I'd look to buy are David Raya and Flecken, and they both have difficult games next week. I'm likely to make the switch. I'm almost certain this will be the last week with Henderson in goal. So as it went with last season with Pickford, congratulations on all your Henderson points from next week. Love your streams. Thanks for all the advice. I really need them. I've had a bad start. That's what we're here for. And I'm glad you do enjoy the streams. They're the best part of what I do as well. So, wildcarding next week, keep or sell Savio. I mean, if you're wildcarding next week, I'd keep. It's not worth a rush transfer out. But will I start Joao Pedro or Kai Havertz? I'd play Joao Pedro. I'd play Joao Pedro. Just checking anyone's tagged me in anything. No, nothing. Nothing. Okay. That is the issue with City. I mean, you can bring City in from next week. Newcastle away is fine. It's just the Arsenal fixture, really. Which they could still, of course, win. If Alisson doesn't start, is it worth to play Semenyo over Smith Rowe? No. I would still play Smith Rowe over Semenyo even if Alisson doesn't start. Vardy or Calvert-Lewin on punt. Isak or Muniz out. I'd sell Muniz and I'd probably go Calvert-Lewin. let's put that in the hot topics because it is being asked a lot. Let's see if it fits. Oh, it doesn't fit. Okay. Isak is a doubt. Cool. There we go. Drop Lewis, Davies, or Robinson for the long term. Davies. The Fulham fixtures are about to get worse. I can't actually left align with the way that this is set up. I can just type basically. Maybe I need to give it an option to make the text smaller. Play Isak or Pedro. Have to play one. Definitely Joao Pedro. The thing with Isak is I expect Isak to either start or not be in the squad at all. So maybe in those sorts of situations, it actually makes sense to start Isak if you've got him rather than benching him. Now, there is, of course, a chance that he is ending up on the bench, but I don't think Isak will be on the bench. I just don't. That's maybe a wrong prediction, but I don't see that scenario playing out. I either expect him recovering and being fine or not featuring at all. Just feels like the way they work at Newcastle. But it might be wrong. It might be wrong. First, Muniz or Tavernier for Pedro. Munoz. Probably Tavernier. Alisson Torreira on free transfer. Fabianski is backup. I probably wouldn't do that. I mean, if you're wildcarding in 6, I definitely wouldn't. If you're not wildcarding in 6, then maybe you do it. But you're just gambling on... You're just gambling on him playing or not, which is pretty hard. And I don't expect Raya to keep a clean sheet this week, so... So, Isak and Henderson to Watkins and Valdemarson. You already have Flecken. Should I bank? So, actually, I wouldn't go Valdemarson. And the reason I wouldn't is in case you want 3 other Brentford players. If that's 2 transfers you're using, I wouldn't do it. I'd bank it and wildcard. If it was too quick a use of it. Or 2 transfers there. Captain Haaland, Palmer or Diaz, no Salah. Probably Palmer. Probably Palmer. If I knew Diaz started... Oh, the hiccups. If I knew Diaz started, I'd go with him, but I just don't feel like we're certain. Palmer or Watkins cap. Watkins out of the 2. Solanke or Mateta. Probably Solanke. I just think that will come good at some point. If I roll this week on wildcard 6, you should have 2 transfers, I believe, in 7. Should you sell Eze for a 5.4 and Jefferson to DCL? As discussed, or hold Eze? Jota, Lewis and Joao Pedro erase. I probably wouldn't. The reason I wouldn't is I want to make... Well, I mean, you could go McNeil. You could go Kevin Sade. Kevin Sade is the one that I look at that it doesn't look like you're going to be able to go to... Thing is, you might want to do Jota to Mbeumo next week anyway. Duncan, I probably would. Kerfner, thank you for joining, upgrading your membership. Drop me a message on Instagram or Twitter and I'll get you added to the additional things you need to be involved in. Alison Taraya on free transfer. Fabianski is back up. Yeah, I probably would only do that if you're wildcarding in, if you're not wildcarding in 6. Even then, I'm not certain I love it. Even then, I'm not certain I love it. Monish, 1 free transfer. Isak and Pedro wildcard 6. What move am I making? I mean, I'd definitely keep Pedro. If you have a strong first sub, I'd just keep it and I'd roll the transfer. If you don't have a strong first sub, I'd sell Alexander Isak to a forward. I mean, you could go to Watkins from him if you have the money. DCL or Chris Wood? I probably would go DCL. It is Alexander Isak's birthday today. That doesn't mean he will or won't play, though, unfortunately. As much as we might like to make that connection. Start Ahmad or Eze? Definitely Eze. Trent to Rico Lewis. Jota to Salah? No. Definitely not. Hamad, if I roll this week on wildcard in 6, yeah, I think you should have 2 and 7. Smith Rowe or Nkunku? Definitely Smith Rowe. I don't think Nkunku's going to start. I don't think he will start. Isak to Calvert-Lewin. Yeah, I don't mind that as a transfer. Still considering wildcard 6. Yeah, so for anyone who's just recently joined the stream, let me reassess where I'm at. So my plan at the moment is to not wildcard in 6. It's not a guarantee that I won't do it though. What am I going to have for breakfast when I'm out? That's the best question we've had. I'm a savoury breakfast type of guy. Like I like pancakes, like I like that sort of stuff, but I'm a savoury, like eggs, bacon, sausage, beans, or like scrambled eggs on toast, or like I'm a savoury breakfast type of person. Like I'm a toast rather than like cereal person in the morning and stuff like that. So, but yeah, this is the plan to potentially save the wild card. Does this all fit? Yeah, so this would be the plan. Mo Salah to Saka, Smith Rowe to Mbeumo, and Henderson to Raya for a -4 going into game week 6. It would give me a team that looks like this in game week 6, which I feel looks scarily close to a wild card. Like, who's missing? People looking at wildcard 6, who's not in this team that is massively missing? Like, who are you excited to wildcard in game week 6 that's not in this draft? Salah, Watkins. I'm interested to see if people do manage to afford Watkins on wildcard though. It's Watkins, it seems. Bowen, Fernandes, Foden. Wow, it's Watkins. Wow, how are people wildcarding with Watkins? I don't know where the money comes from. Like Jota down, you need to free up 3 million. So I suppose Trent goes to a 4.5, which frees up, I suppose that frees up 2.5 mil, doesn't it? And then Jota down, I suppose. You don't go Trent and you don't go Jota and you go Watkins. Get rid of Trent for Watkins. Interesting. Who do I start this week? Howard Bellis, Gvardo or Robinson? I'd play Robinson. I'd go Robinson. No premium goalkeeper and 2 budget defenders is not worth it for 2 budget defenders starting every week and no premium goalkeeper is not worth it, I don't think, for Watkins. So that's my point. Like, it is Watkins, right? Watkins is the big player then I'm missing that's not going to get me, that I'm not going to have, that other people on Wildcard are going to have. But I don't even think everyone on Wildcard is going to have Watkins. McNeil and Rodgers gives you the money. But the issue with that is you're playing McNeil and Rodgers every week. So let's see. I might end up wildcarding. The plan at the moment, if depending on what football happens today, is to make these 3 transfers today, and then make a decision slightly later down the line in the week on what to do with the wildcard. Because if you have a look, I mean, Salah, Calvert-Lewin, apparently Harry Winks is predicted to rise in price. Apologies for the 5,000 ads you get on this website, but there's not much I can do about that. But if David Raya and Mbermo are close to a rise, I probably can't take the risk. And I'll probably have to make them tonight. Who to bench between Gabriel, Mazraoui and Porro? I just would go Mazraoui. I think Palace score. Alisson to Raya, we've done. I would do it if you're not wildcarding in 6. Lots of people dropping tonight. Have a look. Yeah, there are. This will change massively after the deadline, though, because it just thinks, I mean, Jota's dropping. I mean, it doesn't actually matter. His selling price will stay the same. But the thing is, if Jota's predicted to drop, if Jota scores today, he won't drop in price. So there is lots of stuff that will impact that. And like Mikalenko, I mean, that's fine. Wow, there are a lot. Like Joao Pedro, predicted to drop. I mean, he might drop, to be fair. I'm surprised so many people are just getting rid of him. It's the same people, I suppose, that bought him. It hasn't gone well, that transfer, I would say. It hasn't gone well. Who to bench between Gabriel, Mazraoui and Porro? We did. I don't think Watkins is worth the wild card. That's what I would probably say. You have Leon Bailey. Would I start Rodgers or Smith Rowe? Rodgers. Rodgers is over Smith Rowe for me. Final goal scorer projections. Let's have a look at these. Let's get them up. If you don't follow this account on Twitter, I do recommend it. His name is RobTFPL. That was funny, that guy. So, final goal scorer predictions. So, Salah is predicted slightly more over Haaland. Haaland is predicted more goals than Watkins. Interesting. Son, Solanke, Jota, Isak. If Isak plays, right, this just presumes every player is going to start, even if they're fully injured, right? Palmer, Joao Pedro, Ben Brereton, Diaz, Duran, and Jackson. So, I mean, it's the thing. If you've got Isak, it's maybe worth starting him and having someone first sub, similar with Joao Pedro. Watkins up there. Watkins versus Haaland. Like, maybe Haaland's not as bad a captain as I think, but why am I not starting Smith Rowe? I mean, I just don't know who I'd bench him for. Is Nkunku playing? We don't know. We've had no team news yet. Just tuned in after a 36k run. Any news on DCL? I mean, DCL was back in training. He had illness midweek, which I think was made up anyway, by the sounds of things. And I'm very jealous that you are able to run 36 kilometers. Ahmad is United's best attacker. Ahmad is better than Smith Rowe. Yeah, but Rashford and Garnacho have both been flying, right? You just don't know. Mazraoui. Got it. I'm good, thank you. You just don't know that it's not going to be Rashford, Fernandes, Garnacho, Xerxes. Like, it could easily be that in any game. That's my issue with buying Ahmad. And I think that is probably their best. Okay, maybe not, but like, he just doesn't seem like he's going to bench Rashford. So if that's not going to happen, Ahmad is not as good as Garnacho. I don't think. Maybe that's an outlandish claim, but I'm pretty sure. Bench Pedro or Smith Rowe. I mean, based on my team, we've got Smith Rowe on the bench. So Did your sub work? You're subscribed, Duncan. Hello. Hello. I kind of look like Garnacho. I get lots of lookalikes, none of which really look like me. Oh, you've just joined as a mid-tier member. Duncan, welcome. Send me a message on Instagram or Twitter, and I'll get you added. Mazraoui sounds like Hawaii. That Darwin clip. I want Darwin just to stay in the Prem just so I can keep saying Hawaii. Yeah, Cancelo. Yeah, maybe the Cancelo clip. Is Solanke a good buy? I quite like Solanke. I'm just not certain he's worth the 7.5 until we see. Oh, that's Viking Duncan. Oh, got it. Sorry, it came up as new. That's why. So when I see new, you get the strap lines. Have I tried Indian breakfast? Never. Vardy or Calvert-Lewin? Calvert-Lewin. DCL is fit. Yup, back in training. He had illness. For some reason, it didn't renew. You can put it on auto renew. Captain Haaland or Palmer, and why? I mean, I think the Arsenal City game is going to be low scoring, so I probably would go Palmer, but City are at home, and maybe he does just score, and then you just want it. Probably Palmer, though. Why not play Smith Rowe over Woods? I just have been quite impressed with Forest. Maybe Smith Rowe will punish me. I'm benching points every week at the moment, so what week am I most likely to wildcard if I don't? Game week 12, if not game week 6. Any leaks for Chelsea? No, nothing yet. No, nothing yet. Wow, literally nothing. Henderson or Valdemarson? I mean, Valdemarson's not going to play any minutes, so Henderson. Bench Madueke or Smith Rowe? Probably Smith Rowe, but Amad to Eze or Rashford? I'm not sure I'd buy Rashford yet. Olaina or Robinson? Probably Robinson. I just think both of them will concede. Is John Duran a smart transfer? I don't understand why anyone's buying John Duran. If I'm going to be completely honest, it's one of the transfers I just don't understand. I get it a little bit, but I just don't see him starting more than a handful of games this season, and eventually the goals off the bench will dry up. Like, you won't continuously see him scoring off the bench every single week. So I don't really understand the buying of John Duran. Am I wildcarding straight after deadline? No, because I'm not certain I'm going to wildcard anymore. Saka and Isak for Salah and Solanke I quite like, but you'll want Saka back next week is the only thing. So be careful selling Saka to Salah this week. I said it on my final decisions video that I would only sell Saka to Salah this week if you're going to wildcard in either game week 6 or game week 7. If your plan is to not wildcard in either of those weeks, I wouldn't do Saka to Salah this week. You're looking at making 3 free transfers next week, being Jota, Wood and Henderson out for Havertz and Burma and Raya. I don't actually love the Havertz transfer in. I think while he's playing midfield, he's not worth the money over some of the others. So I like the other moves, but I'm not necessarily certain that Chris Wood at home to Fulham out for Havertz is massively worth the transfer. A transfer and the money that it costs you as well. FPL Juice, hello. Thank you very much. I hope your stream is going well. Those of you in the chat who have just won 5 memberships, please do say thank you to FPL Juice. you will get all the members-only content on the YouTube playlist for the next month. We have members-only streams. We have videos and stuff like that. FPL Juice. If you don't watch them, I'm going on as a guest in 2 weeks. And FPL Juice, I actually promise I'm going to turn up now that it's got it in the diary. I will be there. But if you have got it, do say thank you. And yeah, go and check out their channel as well if you haven't already. I can post it. Or Juice, do you want to just post the link in the chat if you are still watching? Or I can do it. Maybe I got it. There we go. Go and check out their channel as well, guys. I'm on there in a couple of weeks. Munoz or Kulusevski. Kulusevski, I would go with. Kefner. Fabianski's back up. Kefner, I've answered the question. I would do it if you're not wildcarding in 6. But there's always just a chance that Alisson plays and it's not worth it. So it is a risk. Isak to Calvert-Lewin. Worth it this week. Haaland or Trent cap? Haaland versus Trent is close. Part of me would want to have a piece of that Liverpool game if you are not captaining Salah. So part of me would go there. But then maybe Haaland is just the safest. I probably would go Trent though. Minte to Mbermo. Yeah, I probably would. I'm not sure it necessarily needs to be forced this week, but yeah. I'm pretty sure this will be the last week I have Henderson in my goal. Watch him keep a clean sheet against Everton next week. Watch him keep a clean sheet against Everton next week. Just joined. Any news on Watkins or Joao Pedro? I mean, Watkins is absolutely fine. He has been cleared and they've said he's 100% available. So that is nothing to worry about. Joao Pedro, we have nothing on. We have nothing on Isak. Got no early team news on Chelsea or anything like that. Got nothing. John, thank you for joining at base tier. Welcome to the channel. Minte to Mbermo, yes. Start 2 of Gvardiol, Aina and Robinson. I'd bench Aina. Muniz to DCL for free. Yes, I probably would. Unless you've got a strong sub and you're wildcarding in 6. Otherwise, yes, I would. Mazraoui, a good buy. Fine, but not for a couple of weeks. You probably won't end up playing him. But from game week 8, they have a nice run of fixtures. You should play Smith Rowe and bench Wood. Maybe. But I think I'm going to keep it this way around. Start to bench. So Welbeck, Smith Rowe, Wood. I mean, I've got Wood on the bench. Trent, FP Alexander Arnold. If you could just leave it again. Oh, I've got it. Should I swap Johnson or Barco for Porro, or save free transfer for the next week? If you're playing Robinson, that's fine. I'd probably just. I mean, you'll probably want Porro. That's the thing, though. If you think you'll just want Porro and you'll need a defender, the issue is if you could get to an Arsenal defender next week instead, then save it. If not, why not start Robinson? I mean, I could play him over Gabriel. I just think that game might be low scoring. It has often been. Who would I sell? Free sell? Who would you free sell Morgan Gibbs-White to with 1.2 in the bank? I'd probably go Brian and Bumo, despite the fixture. Robinson, Mazraoui, Konza, one play. And bench order, I play Konza, Robinson, then Mazraoui. Let me look. Let me add all of those to the benching ranking. Who have we got? Mazraoui. Mazraoui is definitely low down. Konza is high up as well. Cool. They should all be in the benching ranking as well now for you there. If there's any players you want adding to that ranking, let me know. And if they're high enough owned, then I will add them. I do have some spaces. Gabriel or Gvardiol. Gvardiol has been asked and Lewis has been asked. They probably sit together. quite low down, I'd say. Actually, no, because if I think that game's low scoring, let's put them there. Is Isak to Watkins if one free transfer? Yeah, I quite like that. Captain Trent, Haaland or Eze. Definitely not Eze. Trent or Haaland. If you have a fear of captaining a defender, then just go Haaland. But I don't mind the Trent punt. Davies or Greaves, Smith Rowe. I mean, I'd go Davies if you can, but Greaves is nice as a 4 million option. Smith Rowe or Joao Pedro. I mean, I'm starting Joao Pedro. I've sold Foden for Dibbling. I mean, Dibbling looked good, but I'm not sure I would have made that transfer. Big stretch. How long have we got? 15 minutes to go until the deadline. Ooh. Guess whose birthday it is today? It's not Alex. Well, it is Alexander Isak. It's also Ben Mees. I will write a tweet about that in a moment. Why don't I like the Chelsea defence? I mean, that clean sheet we kept to the weekend was the first away clean sheet in 17 matches. The fixtures are also nice for the next couple, but then they get a lot more difficult as well. Feels like the opportunity to buy Chelsea defence long term is kind of gone. If you want a short term punt, you can go for it, but there's some games in there I don't expect. Like, I don't expect a clean sheet today. Then it's Brighton, I don't expect one, and then it's Forest who always beat us. So Madueke or Smith Rowe, I'd probably play Madueke. But we will be keeping an eye out on any last minute team news. Isak out for a hit? Probably not. I probably wouldn't. I mean, it depends what you've got on the bench. If you've got nothing, then maybe, but I just don't think that's worth it. Aina or Robinson, I'd go Robinson. And I wouldn't go to Porro this week. Any news on Joao Pedro? We've literally got nothing. And I'd be very surprised. They don't play until tomorrow. We did hear that apparently he was meant to train yesterday and they were going to see how they got on with that, but we don't have any more information on Joao Pedro than that. Ahmad or Garnacho? This is my issue. It surely has to be Garnacho getting starts soon, right? So probably Garnacho. Why Salah is a better captain's option than Watkins? I mean, I always prefer a midfielder, right? You get the extra point for a goal and a clean sheet. And I think he's more likely to score and play 90 minutes than Watkins is. I don't think it's that far apart, but you know, just a random brace last weekend and it's suddenly Watkins top of the captaincy ranking. I don't think I'm putting him at the top. Lots of people with interesting fake team news in the chat. Please be careful of sharing that. And mods, if you do see people sharing fake team news in the chat, then please do feel free to time them out for a few minutes. Should I start Jota or play Harwood Bellis? Definitely start Jota. The best thing to do, if you do have team news that you think is legit, like I'm not saying, if you've seen it on Twitter or something, then just tag me in it and I will take a look at it. But I haven't seen anywhere anything on Liverpool. Harwood Bellis or Robinson? I'd go Robinson. Who should I transfer in for Hall? 4.5 in the bank. Leave Davies probably. Watkins or Haaland captain? Watkins. Would I start DCL or Saka? I mean, I wouldn't bench either. I'd find someone else to bench. I mean, yeah. Benching DCL and Saka this week. I mean, benching Saka ever doesn't feel right. And I definitely wouldn't bench DCL. I would honestly take another look at your lineup and find someone else to bench. If I had to pick DCL or Saka, probably Saka because I expect that game to be low scoring. Isak to DCL, I don't mind. It's a free transfer. Do I still think Isak either starts or isn't in the squad? Probably. I mean, it's not guaranteed, right? There is, of course, a chance he's on the bench, but I would be surprised if that's the outcome. You started Gabriel over Robinson. Yeah, I mean, I was wrong last week. And I just think that Arsenal City is always low scoring. Benching Joao Pedro, playing Haaland, DCL, McNeil, Jota, Palmer, Salah and Rodgers. I don't mind that. Maybe Joao Pedro is better than McNeil though. Start Madueke or Smith Rowe. Probably go Madueke because I do think he should start. Benching Faz or Robinson. I don't think Leicester will keep a clean sheet, so I'd probably bench Faz. No news as of yet. No news as of yet. That Liverpool account, who people started sharing last week, has said Trent starts, but I mean, we don't really need that news, and I still am not certain on it. But thank you for tagging me in it. Thank you for tagging me in it. We have 10 minutes to go to the deadline. I'm pretty certain this team's not my starting lineup's not going to change unless we get any news on anything in the next 10 minutes. So do stick around. Isak has travelled to London. Apparently, we don't know that. We do not know that. No. Bench Rodgers or Ahmad. I'd bench Ahmad. Let's up how long the camps here, right? The benching is on. Palmer, Trent or Jota captain. Probably Palmer. No Chelsea team news. Harry, please answer. Start Pau Torres or Gabriel. Pau Torres. He's up there with Konza as well in the benching ranking. Would I play Konza or Duran? I mean, I'd go Duran if you got him, but I wouldn't buy Duran. Am I sure Jota will start? No, I'm not certain, but I predict he will. Rico Lewis or Robinson? Robinson. Maybe Nedeljkovic. I don't think Nedeljkovic will start. Robinson or Rico Lewis is close. Probably go Lewis if we think he's going to start. Wow. Probably just about go Lewis because his attacking threat is good. And if both teams concede, then you probably want Lewis. Muniz or Harwood Bellis as first sub? Harwood Bellis. Is McNeil not better than Joao Pedro this week? I mean, if they both start, Joao Pedro is definitely better. But you do have the risk of minutes built into Joao Pedro, which I get. Captain Son, absolutely not. Playing left wing with Solanke up front is just not good for Son at all. Calvert-Lewin, Smith Rowe or Pedro bench? I mean, I'm benching Smith Rowe. Did Emery say he needs to find a way to start both Watkins and Duran? No. He said it's possible that Duran starts games. It's possible that they've played together, but Watkins is 100%. And Watkins will play. So I don't think Duran will start games yet unless Watkins needs it. I don't think they'll start games together unless there's injuries. Unless there's more injuries. The coach says he will not risk. I don't think Isak will be a sub, but I might be wrong. 8,000 of you in and watching. Thank you for joining. Make sure you like and subscribe if you haven't already. Jackson or Isak? I'd start Jackson. I'd captain Watkins over Palmer, over the other Liverpool guys as well, I think. Semenyo or Smith Rowe? Smith Rowe, definitely. Warrior animation. I know, honestly, this stream is so professional. Joao Pedro or Rodgers? Probably Rodgers. Just in case Joao Pedro doesn't start. There's no way I bench Rodgers. I could bench Joao Pedro or Chris Wood, but I don't think I'm going to. Is Rodgers a strong first sub? Rodgers is a strong start if you have Greaves or Gabriel. Again, benching decision will be in the top right-hand corner. I have Gabriel just above Greaves. No, I don't. I have Greaves just above Gabriel. Nkunku or Kudus. I play Kudus because I don't think Nkunku will start. Vice captain Solanke or Haaland. Probably Haaland. Am I wildcarding in 6? We'll talk about that in 6 minutes at the deadline. Saliba or Onana. Probably Saliba. Eze or Rodgers. Eze, sell Gordon. I mean, I wouldn't rush to sell Gordon. You know, he might, yeah. I don't think he's a priority sell, no. Maybe next week to Mbeumo, but you don't need to sell Gordon this week. Gibbs White or Smith Rowe. Probably Gibbs White because he's on penalties. It's difficult to bench that. Captain Watkins, if you don't have Salah, yes. Vardy or Nketiah. Vardy, Smith Rowe or Minte. Probably Smith Rowe just because Minte started midweek, which does worry me. Bench 1, Isak, Joao Pedro or Smith Rowe. Probably Smith Rowe, and then you can just have him as first sub for Isak. Robinson or Greaves for first sub. I'd play Greaves over Robinson. Salah to Anthony on a -4. No, of course. Why not Wood to Vardy for you? It's not worth the transfer, I don't think. I like Wood's fixtures going forward, and I expect Forest to score more goals. Aina or Robinson, I'd play Robinson, the home fixture. Please start Leon Bailey or Duran. I mean, Bailey if we think he's going to start. Robinson versus Konza, definitely Konza. That's all in the benching ranking, which is up on screen in the top right. This should answer a lot of the benching decisions that you've got, right? Johnson is not going to start, so I don't think I'd start him. Let me put that right at the bottom. Do check the benching ranking that's going to be coming around in the top right in a moment. Maybe I just put it up. Oh, no, we don't want that. Just keep the benching ranking in the top right. Should answer a lot of the questions that you've got. Right, let's put him there and then let's go that out. There we go. I've added Saliba to it as well. That is the full benching ranking. Who am I swapping from Burma next week? It might be Smith Rowe. It might be Smith Rowe if I do Salah down. I mean, accounts I've never seen before. Some of you shouting in the chat and lots of you have tagged me. Account I've never seen before, but I isn't blocked, called James Wathland. Says that Jota starts, but if you've got Jota, just play him. I mean, I wouldn't go buying Jota this week because it's just too one-weeky, but one-weeky? Does that have a word? If you've got Isak as well, like you can sell him or you just start him because, as I said, I don't think Isak will be on the bench. I think he'll either start or not. I'm rolling my transfer like this is my team. It's not changing. We have 1.5 minutes to go to the deadline. Franz retweeted it. Okay. Isak or Smith Rowe. I'd probably start Isak and then Smith Rowe will come in off the bench. But would I sell Isak? As long as you got a first good sub, I wouldn't sell Isak. Would Leaf Davies start in my team? Yeah, I'd start him over Gabriel. Kanate start? I mean, probably, but I don't know. Does Nkunku start? I'd be surprised. We've got no Chelsea leaks, though. Start Aina or Robinson. Again, looking at the benching ranking, which is going to come up for the final minute for the deadline in just a second. I'd go Robinson over Aina. So there is the benching decision. There is 1 minute to go until the FPL deadline. I will keep answering questions, but if you need players to start, they're in the top right-hand corner now for you. Let me just do that. There you go. Triple captain on Salah. I'm still saving it. If you didn't play on Haaland in game week 2, then you're not going to play it on Salah against Bournemouth, who look pretty strong. Smith Rowe to Rodgers for a hit. Nope. Smith Rowe or Wood. I'm starting, of course, Wood in my team. Garnacho or Smith Rowe. I'd play Garnacho. Would I sell Isak if I've won 3? No. As long as you've got a first sub, I would start Isak and hope he plays. Thanks a ton for your help. Best 5 captains. Salah 1, Watkins 2, Palmer, Trent, Jota, Haaland. Captain Palmer or Watkins. Watkins. Smith Rowe or Gordon. I'd play Gordon. My captain is on Salah and vice captain is on Haaland. Let me just refresh my team to make sure everything is in the right place. My team is ready to go. Salah captain. Yep. That, everyone, is going to be the deadline. Any Ahmad news? Nothing on any sort of team news we got. Sucks if Joao Pedro drops in price. Yeah, he might do. Loads of people have bought and then sold, basically. Loads of people have bought and then sold. And my computer has just frozen at the deadline. Good stuff. Thanks, Harry. Enjoy your weekend. Dave, I apologise. Got Visa in your wildcard, considering -4 next week for Salah, Matoma, Visa, to Saka and Bruno. Havertz. I don't love Havertz. I like it, but I'm not sure I'd bother going with Havertz just because of if there's no Odegaard, he doesn't look as good, and it doesn't sound like Odegaard's going to be back for a while. So that is the deadline. Let's quickly do a fancy challenge team, shall we? Fancy challenge. There is a link in the description to the fancy challenge league if you want it. Manage team. What's the rules? Only players from the Americas. Interesting. So who do we get? Wow. That's the only page of forwards we have. Who on earth's predicted to start? Sorry, what a horrible list of forwards to pick from. Any of these start this week? I mean, I'm going to have to pick Joao Pedro. I don't want a second forward. The deadline has passed. If you guys are going, before you go, if you could make sure you've liked and subscribed as well. Head over with the top link in the description to my podcast as well. There'll be another episode out on Monday evening for you all to listen to. Just quite fun. Hopefully listen. Maybe I just go Duran, but that feels a bit boring. I'm going to go with... I mean, it's kind of got to be Duran, right? Midfield. Like, what is this? I'm going to take Ben Burton Diaz. And then in defence, Romero. And in goal, Martinez. Captain Ben Burton Diaz against Ipswich. Love it. Oh, I can change formation. Oh. Got it. 1-2-1. Thanks. There we go. There we go. I could change formation. That would make more sense. Team news will be out in 10 minutes, but I am going to wrap up the stream now as I am...
Can I make a cup of tea?
You can make a cup of tea. You could make a cup of tea while I'm streaming.
No, I couldn't. The kettle would make it.
Oh, the kettle is quite loud, to be fair. Do you do team?
Yeah, I captained Haaland.
You captain Haaland. You don't have Salah, though.
No, my team's in a bit of a mess. You didn't wildcard.
No, I was never wildcarding this week.
anyone wildcarded?
No, next week.
Why?
Because there's lots of fixture swings. And you can sell, it's time to get lots of Arsenal players now.
Yeah, I need to get rid of that guy, Gavardio.
Yeah, Gavardio needs to go. Chat say hello. Duncan says hello.
He's a form 1 point. I know you don't look at form, but he is form like 1.8 or something.
Yeah, he's not been very good.
He's been dreadful. He needs to go. How is your little setup there?
It's great. Look at it.
I feel like if people could see what you're doing.
Streaming in the kitchen.
Did the lorries? It's very noisy here.
They said they couldn't. They said they couldn't hear the lorries very much. Did I fix the internet issues at home? We had someone come on Friday, and he said he's helped to improve it. So we'll see what happens next week once I'm at home to actually test it. But that's my fancy challenge team. Say hello.
The camera's really low. I don't think I'm going to get in the camera.
No, so come and say hello.
Okay. Hi, everybody. We're in Whitstable. If anyone is in Whitstable on the stream, it's very pretty.
It is very nice. Right, we need to go in a minute.
We do. Brilliant.
Right. I will finish. That was Holly for anyone who's not seen you before, because you've been dodging streams recently.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have. Anyway, Holly, they all say hello.
Oh, thanks. Hi.
Harry is punching. Yeah, I am.
What should Harry have? I reckon you're going to have for breakfast.
I told them I'm savoury breakfast. Holly's my fiance, for people who are wondering.
I will probably go sweet breakfast.
You always do sweet breakfast.
Or avocado, and I reckon you'll have something like the sausage, bacon.
That's what I said.
Sandwich with eggs.
Yeah, some sort of breakfast sandwich or breakfast. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Jason punching. Yeah, very good. Very good.
Do you know what someone put? Like when I went up to get a drink of water earlier, they said something like, "Oh, get someone."
Immortal said it.
That,
yeah, I saw the comment.
That's really cute.
Interesting and right. Well, yeah. Thanks for ending the stream. Right, I am going to go. There will be a video out tomorrow as well. I will post stuff on Twitter, so make sure you're there. Like, I'll talk about Wildcard and how I feel about it after today. I'll probably do a post once the games at 5:30 end. I will also have a Wildcard draft in terms of a short form video on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube Shorts as well sometime today. I've already recorded it, so I might just put it up now. The Fantasy Challenge League code is in the description as well. So if you want to join all of those, there will be lots of stuff as well. Yeah, thank you all very much. We'll end it there. Have a lovely weekend. Like and subscribe before you go. And I will see you all very soon.